Hello friends, today we are going to demonstrate Listview for Windows forms. So let's start the project. I'm going to add another project in Windows form folder in Tech and Talk solution that we are using for all our exercises, so that you can find all the exercise under a single solution. So let me add a brand new project, and this will be Windows Form application, right? And the framework will be .NET framework. So let me just add the folder for this one, and let me name it image list demo. Let's just use image list. I'm removing the demo keyword here, right? And here we can name our project as image list demo, right? Okay, so now you can see that if we can just verify, okay, so yeah, this is a empty form that is created by default by Visual Studio. So let me add Listview here, drag and drop, quick and simple like this, and let me add picture box. So idea here is that we will load our images in this list, and as soon as we click the images, it will be displayed in this picture box, right? Yeah, so this is our list view and this is our picture box, and let's get started. But let me first give it a proper name, and if I go to properties, this is list view, let me name it image list, right? And let me rename it selected image, right? So what we will do, we will create a list of images to be loaded in this list, and for this purpose we will use image list, and we will assign that image list to this list view. And on selection of the item, the selected items image will be loaded in this image box, the picture box. So let's create a load method. For that, just double click the form, it will be added automatically. So the first thing is image list, and although you guys can drag drop the image list from the list of controls from here, but it will be added as a reference at the bottom here and it will not show. So it's good practice to create it here, its instance programmatically. So images is equal to new image list like this, and for the image sizes, what we will do is we will use images dot image size is equal to new size, and we will give it let's give it size. So we want to show the image list and the item in the image list. Let's say we want to show it in rectangular form, so let's give it a width of 130 and the height of 40, right? And the next thing is We want to load the image from a temporary location. Image file is equal to image dot from file, and let's say the location is my E drive, and inside this E drive I had temp table and one.jpg, right, like this. And I will add this image in my image list, and let's say image file, and image file will be added into this image list. And next thing would be to give the, and what was the name, the selected image dot image, let's hard code it the over image file. So image file like this. And the last thing what we need is, yeah, let's just try run this. Okay, so you can see we have list view empty, and the picture box has the selected image here. So what has happened is we have loaded the image file, we have assigned that image file to our picture box right here, and we have the image added into image list, but we haven't assigned this image list to this list view. So next thing would be to image list dot let's say it has two properties, one is large image list, one is small image list. Let's use the large image list is equal to, let's assign the above images to it, so that we have the image list with available images, and only the images will not show. If I can just rerun this, you can see the images are not loaded because this list view needs an item to be shown. So next thing is to add item as well. List dot items dot add, and we will add new item, new list view item, and this would be the name, let's say the title, let's say it's our first image, and the second param will be the image from that image list. So the second parameter would be the index. Yeah, I think that would be the index from that list of images. So what it means is that we need to add a list view item which should be have the title of first image, and the image assigned to this item should be the first item in the array of images, which is this one. So let's try it. Okay, so now guys, you can see that we have the list view loaded with image list, and we have the selected image here. So let's just make it more dynamic, so that we have a selected images here, and as soon as we click any item from this list, this picture box should be changed accordingly, right? So let's modify our code accordingly, and see how it looks. So guys, let's see how we can load the list of images inside that list view. So for that, let's first create a private list of images, and let's name it loaded images, and it's a property. So let's load these images from the location we have here. So let's create a private method here. Load images from folder, and inside it let me add a index is equal to 1, right, and let me use while loop. Index is less than 10, start iterating. So in this iteration, what we will do, we will use this set of code, but before that let's use string let's create a dynamic string for the path of the image. So let's name it temp location is equal to, and we are going to use string interpolation so that we can get rid of the concatenation thing. So we have images at this location now, and index, right, and let me close this one. And we also need to give the at the rate sign for these characters, escape characters. So this is how we can create dynamic string. The normal and bad way is to concatenate the string like this, right, which is a dirty way of doing this. So let's get rid of this, and this is a new feature in C#, so we can prepare our strings dynamically like this using string interpolation. So next thing is to load that image. What temp image is equal to image dot from file, and let me this temp location to this method, and let's add now this image into our loaded image list. Okay, so now our list has been prepared through this method, and what we will do, we will call it at the top of that code, so that as soon as form is loaded, we first initiate our list of images like this. Okay, let me comment it, loading images from folder. All right, so what is the next thing to do? So the next thing would be like we have the list of images here. Now we need to add these images into image list. So for that purpose we need to initiate over this list. This is right. Let me add a comment, initializing image list, right? And next thing what we want is to set the size of the items of this image. That's correct. And this piece has already been automated under this method, which has been called at the top. So yeah, what about the let me comment out this line for the timing, and let's decide how to load images inside the image list from that list here. So let's just iterate those images from image list from those loaded images, and let's move this line inside this for each, and we need to replace this with image. And now our image list has been loaded with the physical images which has been loaded in our loaded images. So next thing will be to okay, so now the image list, the list view, how we can assign these images to the list view. We can just do that just with this single line, setting our list view with the image list. All right, and what next we want is to add these images as an list view item, because if we haven't added these list items in that list, these images won't be shown. It would show the empty list view. So it is saying that we have an error, which is okay guys, we did a mistake. We haven't appended the extension of the image, which is the PNG. Let me now control F5. So it's still saying that there is an issue. Okay, so what could be the issue? All right, you can see that we have added a property, but we haven't initialized this one, so object reference could be the issue. So let's try by loaded images is equal to new list of image. Now it should work fine. Okay, let's see what it is saying. So it's stuck. So I think what it is causing the issue is I forgot to increment that index so that our while loop stops. So it was running infinitely, and memory get the system was getting out of memory. If I load this now, you can see that nice, and it's working, no issues, no errors. So let's construct our list view like this, and for this construction let me use for loop. Item index is equal to 0, Let me add this as form, and item index should be less than the loaded images dot count less than equal to. In fact, the item index should be plus plus incremented. And let's wrap this line inside this for loop. And in this, what are we doing is we are adding the list item view in image list items, and we are giving it data dynamically. So SQL updater. So this constructor takes two parameters. First one is the name of the image, the title you want to show under the image, the thumbnail, you can say the title. And let's say let's use again the string interpolation here and the dollar sign in front of the string. And now we can use the variable inside the string, and let's use it item index. So image 1, image 2, image 3 will be shown in this list. And to pick the images from image list, we need the index, so it should be start from 0. So I am doing -1, that's why. So let's run it for once. Okay, nice and easy. So we have the list view with images list loaded in the form. So next thing what we want is, as soon as we select any image from this list view, it should be shown in the picture box here, and should be changeable and selectable. So let's do it. So to select the item and show in the picture box, we need the event for this list view item. So let's see what events it provides us. So it has item check, item selection change, right? I guess we can use this event item selection change. So if I double click on this, it will create an event for us. And let me add a debugger and start debugging it. And if I click this one, you can see I have the selected item from that list view. So let's give it the selected indexes, and let's get the first item because we are not doing multi-selection here. And let's also fetch the image on the basis of this index from the loaded images dot find index dot get no dot select. Okay, right. So we just need to give it the selected index, and it will give us the image. Image is equal to this way, and what we will show selected image dot So what name we have given this picture box? If we can see, its name is selected image, right? Okay, so image dot image should be selected image, right? Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, but it is saying that value 0 is not a valid index. Okay. Let's debug this code for once and let's see what is going wrong. If you can see, the selected index is 0, that is quite right, and it should be shown the image. And if I click the second one, and now what it is saying that, okay, so what we need to do is we need to make a check on the top here. If dot count is greater than 0, then to move forward and do the work for us. Let me remove the content code from here. Okay, nice and easy. So now you have a beautiful gallery to be used, and it's totally developed by you in C# using Windows Form. In the previous video we have worked on creating the image viewer, and in this video we are going to update this demo, and we'll try to enhance that UI a bit, and our target is to achieve this UI like this. We have a file menu, and inside the file menu we have to select the directory. So if I select the image folder from here, you can see the images, and I click that, the images get loaded dynamically like this, and we can select, this was from the previous tutorial. So next thing is we implemented the next and previous functionality as well, right? You can see the selection is also changing with next and previous click. So in this tutorial let's see how to implement this thing, and let's get started. So yeah guys, we are here in code that we have written for the previous tutorial. So let's update this one, and first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add the menu toolbar here, menu strip. I will add this one here, right? And I will add first menu with the name of file, and I will add a sub menu with the name of select directory, right? So yeah, and let me just adjust these controls, and let's add two buttons for next and previous as well. Let me add button 1 and button 2 like this. Yeah, so the name of the buttons will be previous, and for this one we need to add next, right? So yeah, another thing is let's resize them, and for this I will go to format, sizes. For the width I will select somewhere around this, and for the height I will go for something like this, and I will adjust their locations as well like this. Okay, so it looks good now. So let's add event behind this, behind these buttons. So I will going to use the same technique to use same event behind both of these button clicks. For this purpose, let me first add a click behind this one, and let me update the event name, which should be button underscore navigation, right? And I will use this same okay, and I will use the same event for this one here, and we'll copy paste this from here, and we'll do this one, and we need to just change the reference of the button so that we are navigating for both clicks to that event, right? It's working now. So let me save this one. And for the directory, selecting a directory, we need to add on click method of this menu item. For this, let's go to property events, and for the click I just double click this one, and it will add an event. So behind this event we want to open folder browser dialog. Yeah, we need this one. Folder browser is equal to new folder browser like this. And next thing we want is folder browser dot show dialog. If it is equals to dialog result dot okay, let me wrap this one inside if condition like this. If we select a folder and press OK, then we want to do what we want to do. We want to select the path. For this purpose, let me save this one in a variable. Let's say selected directory is equals to folder browser dot selected path like this. And to read all the files inside this directory, we need to do paths is equal to what we can see, image paths is equal to selected directory. No, not like this. We need to do directory dot for the directory we need to add a reference for system.io dot find dot what we can get files like this. It will bring us all the files, and it is required the directory path like this. So all the file paths will be available in this variable. So next thing will be to load these images into our system. So for this purpose we need to reuse the existing functionality from here. First thing was load images from folder. Let's go to this function. Okay, and what it is doing that it is picking all the files, basically 10 hard-coded length of files from this location. So what I will do, I will give that list to this function dynamically. Let me forward that list paths, and it will do that for each var path in paths. Okay, we don't need index now, we don't need to increment in this index. And what we can do is, the path is coming from here, so we don't need that one as well. We need to give it the path directly, and the images will be loaded into loaded images list, right? So that's the update for this method, and we don't need to use this in form load. By the way, we don't need to use form load method now, so we will remove this at the end of this tutorial. So we are moving this code from this event to the menu click event. So we have the paths here selected, and next thing we will call is load images from folder, and it will take the paths from this variable. Let me also add a comment: image paths from selected directory the overlay selected directory. Okay, and this is loading images from selected from image paths, right? So what will be the next thing? Okay, we are loading images. Okay, so next thing would be to load this list of images to the image list and show them. So for this purpose, let me cut all this code from here and move it right here. So loaded images will be loaded into image list, and this image list will be bind to our list view, right? So we now need to remove this from load method right away, and to remove the error we need to remove this binding as well. So let's give it a try. Okay, and let me select the location from here, which is my computer, temp and the images, like this. Oops, great. So it's loading the images from that folder, and when I click the image, it is working as it was previously. So this is cool. And next thing we want to do is we want to make this next and previous work, so that we can navigate these images or go through this list from these buttons. So let's add this functionality as well. So we are going to use this image navigation event here. So what we will do is we will need a local variable which will be in int of type, and it will be selected image index, and let's initialize it with 0. Let me comment selected image from the list view. Okay, image index from the list view. Alright, so we will consume that variable. So first of all, we need to differentiate that if the previous button is clicked or next is clicked. So for that, let me cast clicked button sender as button, right? And we will check if clicked button dot text dot equals previous, then do this thing, otherwise do this thing, right? So in case of previous, what we will need is we will require to, let's see how we have set the selected image to the picture box like this. Let me copy paste this code and we will reuse it right here. And now we have the selected index coming from a variable, and this which is selected image index, right? This is a private variable, we just have to clear at the top of the file. And we want to, yeah, that's cool. And before assigning this selected image index to get the image and select and giving that image to picture box, we need to confirm that it shouldn't be the first image in the case of previous and the last image in the case of next. So we will need to check if selected image index selected image index is greater than 0, so that if the previous is clicked, we can jump to the 0 next, right? Then do this action, and before this action we need to decrement this selected image index by 1, right? And same goes here, but for this thing we need to check if less than the loaded images dot count. Okay, and we know that the count is always less than, count is always greater than the index, because index starts with 0 and the count starts with 1. So we need to make a minus from this count as well, right? And we need to increment in this case, right? So yeah, I think that's all. and yeah, let's give it a try. So I will open my images folder. All the images are loaded and it's working. So in case of next is moving next, right? And in the case of previous, it is working absolutely fine. But you have noticed that the select functionality is not working because the images are not getting selected from this list dynamically. So we need to add this functionality now. So for this purpose, what we will do one thing, which is image list, right, dot items. And for this, what we want is we want image index dot select should be true. So what we are doing here is we want the list view items and want to select that item which is on this index, and we want to make it selected, right? And same thing goes to here, but there will be a problem. But before that problem, we want to demonstrate once. So I'm selecting the image directory which is in my PC, temp, and the images. Okay, and it's working, but you can observe that it's selecting all the images, not deselecting the previous images which are already selected. So this is the problem. You can see all the images are selected now. So although we are setting the selected property true, but we need to deselect the all deselect the selected images other than this at this index. So for this purpose, let's move this selection functionality into a separate function, and let's call it void select the select item. Okay, and we will pass over list view to it, and we need the index that we want to be selected. So for this purpose, list dot item on this index, we want it to be selected, right? But this will not work in this way because we need to deselect all other items as well. So there are a couple of ways. For the simplicity, I am going to use the for loop, right? And I am going to add int item is equal to 0, item is less than list dot items dot count, and item plus plus, right? And what I want is if the item is equals to the index, then do this thing, right? And in all other cases, do this thing, right? So we will just call this function from inside of this although there is a duplication of code, we can improve the code. The improvement process is the continuous process. currently we are going to achieve our functionality. So yeah, I just placed that function here. Let's see if it works. I'm going to select the same my PC, temp, and the images. Where the images goes here. All right, so I am selecting and I am going to next item. It's not going previously. So what has happened? Let's see what has happened. What I have done is I am iterating. Let's see without this if it's working. Select directory, this PC, temp, images, right? Yeah, it's working this way, but not the selection was the problem here. So let's debug this. So what we are doing is list view index selected true if item equals to index. So yeah, there is the glitch. It should be the list, not the image list. So let's remove this and try to run this again. Obviously it's hectic to find the directory again, but this is part of the process we have to follow. Nope. Let's see what has happened. So yeah, okay, I got it. So what it is happening is on the first thing, when we manually changing the selection, we are not updating the selected image index, and now we are updating it like this. And one other thing was that we are looping, but we are not using this item. We are just on each iteration we are just using the same selected index, so it should be item instead of the index. Not it should work fine. Let me give it a run and let's see. I'm going to my computer, temp folder, then images and selected. So yeah, if I move next and previous, you can see the selection is also changing, right? You can see the blue overlay on the images, right? And same here when I go previously. All right, and if I select them manually, you can see it should work together with our next and previous functionality. So that's it, and that was the updation on this application that we were trying to achieve. So we did it, and it's all about the implementation, and it's all about the requirements. We can enhance this UI as much as we can. Welcome to the third part of image list demo. So before we start, let me execute this program once so that हम देख सकें कि हम लास्ट टाइम हमने क्या चीज़ अचीव की थी. Let me press Ctrl F5. For last time we have built this UI जिसमें हमारी फाइल की ऑप्शन है, जिसमें हम अपनी डायरेक्टरी सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं which contains number of images, और all those images are loaded in our list. और जब भी किसी एक आइटम पे क्लिक करते हैं तो इमेज जो है वो डिस्प्ले होता है हमारे पिक्चर बॉक्स में. सो सेंटर में हमारा पिक्चर बॉक्स है, और नेक्स्ट एंड प्रीवियस करते हुए हम इस लिस्ट पे आइटरेट कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, तो एक क्वेश्चन एक कमेंट में पूछा गया था कि how we can save image from picture box. तो for that one I replied on the same comment, और उसके लिए मैंने एक बटन ऐड किया, और इसके पीछे इसके इवेंट के पीछे मैंने पिक्चर बॉक्स डॉट इमेज डॉट सेव का जो मेथड है वो कॉल करके हम एक इमेज को उसकी टाइप दे के सेव करवा सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो दिस वाज माय क्विक रिप्लाई ऑन दैट कमेंट, बट दिस इज नॉट बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस. सो फ्रॉम बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आई थॉट कि आज एक हम वीडियो बनाते हैं और इसको properly implement करते हैं. तो first of all we need to save this on a relative path instead of absolute path, right? So for that जहाँ से भी एक प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है जिस भी डायरेक्टरी से, बेसिकली उसी डायरेक्टरी में डाउनलोड्स के फोल्डर में इमेज सेव होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो फॉर दैट वन फर्स्ट वी नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट downloads directory exists, right? So for that one we will call directory dot create directory, और हम इसको नाम दे देंगे download. ओके, इसको हम downloads directory नेम, इसको हम कह देते हैं जी const string, और डायरेक्टरी नेम हम कहते हैं downloads, right? और ये डायरेक्टरी नेम बेसिकली पास होगा डायरेक्टरी नेम here. मेक श्योर के डायरेक्टरी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती तो क्रिएट हो जाएगी. फॉर इट एग्जिस्ट तो ये लाइन इग्नोर हो जाएगी. ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट थिंग इज के डायरेक्टरी बन गई, और हमें यहाँ पे अब सेव करवाना है अपना इमेज इन नेम, और इसको हम इंटरपोलेशन से डायरेक्टरी नेम इसको अब इस पे इस पाथ में ऐड कर देते हैं. ठीक है, डायरेक्टरी नेम स्लैश जो भी इमेज का नाम है, तो इमेज का नाम भी टेस्ट डॉट png, इट शुड आल्सो बी डायनामिक, राइट? सो फॉर दैट वन क्रिएटिंग डायनामिक इमेज नेम, और यहाँ पे हम वो स्टैंडर्ड और इमेज नेम इक्वल टू gid dot new gid dot toString, right? और ये इमेज नेम हम यहाँ पे पास कर इमेज नेम, राइट? तो इस तरह से हमने मेक श्योर कर लिया कि हमारी डायरेक्टरी क्रिएटेड है, और हमने अपनी जो हर सेव फाइल है वो एक न्यू नेम से हम अपने फोल्डर में सेव करवा रहे हैं. ठीक, इसको एक दफ़ा एग्जीक्यूट कर लेते हैं. लेट मी क्लोज the UI, control F5, right? तो इसमें हम इसको पाथ दे देते हैं। रोड साइन कैलरी रोड साइन प्रोसेस्ड ओके। और यहाँ पे जब हम इसको सेव एज पीएनजी करते हैं, इसको सेव एज पीएनजी करते हैं, सेव एज पीएनजी करते हैं, तो अब हम अपना डाउनलोड्स का फोल्डर देखेंगे तो ये मल्टीपल फाइल्स डिफरेंट नेम्स के साथ सेव हो गई हैं, ठीक है। और ये बिन डिबग के अंदर ही एक फोल्डर बना डाउनलोड्स का जिसमें ये सारा काम हुआ, विच मीन्स जहाँ भी हमारी ये एप्लीकेशन इंस्टॉल होगी उसी लोकेशन पे एक उसी डायरेक्टरी के अंदर एक डाउनलोड्स का फोल्डर बन जाएगा और उसमें ये फाइल्स जो हैं वो सेव हो जाएंगी। सो दैट वाज इट फॉर दिस एपिसोड। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सो वेलकम बैक टू टेक एंड टॉक। और आज इमेज गैलरी ऐप की का फोर्थ एपिसोड है जिसमें हम एग्जिस्टिंग ऐप में कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट्स करने जा रहे हैं। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम देख लेते हैं कि क्या चीज़ें इम्प्रूव की जा सकती हैं। लेट मी रन द ऐप, कंट्रोल F5 एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये जो मेन्यू बार का बैकग्राउंड है ये कोई इतना उसका कलर इतना डिफ्रेंशिएट नहीं कर रहा बॉडी के साथ, ठीक है। तो हम इसका कलर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट कर सकते हैं। दूसरा, ये जो कंट्रोल्स हैं बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट विजिबल नहीं होना चाहिए क्योंकि हमें पता है कि कोई इमेजेस लोडेड नहीं है, तो इस लिस्ट का सॉरी और इन बटन्स का कोई यहाँ पे पर्पस नहीं है क्योंकि ये कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे। इवन ये हमारी एक्सेप्शन थ्रो हो रही है, ठीक है, क्योंकि इमेजेस अपलोडेड नहीं है, तो ये बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट विजिबल नहीं होना चाहिए। तीसरा, जब इस विंडो को रीसाइज कर रहे हैं तो हमारा ये जो कंट्रोल्स हैं वो एडजस्ट नहीं हो रहे अकॉर्डिंगली, ठीक है। वो भी हम देख लेते हैं कि कैसे एडजस्ट किए जा सकते हैं। तो वन बाय वन स्टार्ट करते हैं। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम मेन्यू का बैकग्राउंड देख लेते हैं कि मेन्यू का बैकग्राउंड कैसे हम कर सकते हैं। कलर, सो मैंने मेन्यू को सिलेक्ट कर लिया। इसमें थोड़ी सी इसकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ देख लेते हैं। इसकी एक प्रॉपर्टी होती है बैकग्राउंड के नाम से, आई गेस उसको देख लेते हैं कि हाँ उसका क्या कलर किया जा सकता है। सो वी हैव बैक कलर, राइट, या वी हैव बैक कलर। और इसमें ड्रॉप डाउन के अंदर हम कोई डिफरेंट कलर ले लेते हैं, लाइक मे बी दिस वन, राइट, थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा प्रोमिनेंट हो जाएगा इससे, ठीक है। एक तो ये हो गया। दूसरा हम देख लेते हैं कि ये जो कंट्रोल्स हैं ये विंडो के रीसाइज के साथ जो हैं वो एडजस्ट हो जाने चाहिए। तो इट मीन्स के इनको एंकर इनकी प्रॉपर्टी इनकी सेट करनी पड़ेगी। तो ये टॉप और लेफ्ट में एंकर इनेबल्ड है, तो इसको हम आई थिंक राइट में भी कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, ताकि ये जो है और बॉटम पे भी कर सकते हैं, ताकि जैसे ही विंडो रीसाइज हो तो इसकी जो चारों साइड्स हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंगली एक उनका साइज इंक्रीज हो जाए। लेट मी प्रेस कंट्रोल F5। ओके, द मेन्यू बैकग्राउंड चेंज्ड और हम इमेजेस सेलेक्ट कर लेते हैं और इसमें हम देख लेते हैं कि development.net, ओके, development, it should be in the gallery and processed, okay. So if अगर हम इसको रिसाइज करें, now you can see that it get resized as well. The panel get resized as well, right? So now that looks fine, right? एक तो चीज़ ये हो गई। दूसरा, हम इन बटन्स को नेक्स्ट देखते हैं कि इन बटन्स की एंकर प्रॉपर्टीज़ कैसे सेट की जा सकती हैं। सो इस बटन के लिए हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ये इस विंडो के रीसाइज होने पे, ओके, इस बटन के रीसाइज होने पे इसकी विड्थ चेंज ना हो, लेकिन ये इस बॉटम राइट कॉर्नर के साथ स्टिक रहे, ठीक है। विच मीन्स के इसका जो इसकी जो राइट साइड है और बॉटम साइड है ये एंकर होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। तो ये करके जल्दी से चेक कर लेते हैं। सो मैंने राइट कर दी, टॉप और लेफ्ट डिसेबल कर दी और बॉटम कर दी कि वो इन दो कॉर्नर्स के साथ अटैच रहे, ठीक है। और इसको हम फिर थोड़ा सा रिसाइज करके देख लेंगे। और दूसरा, ये जो बटन्स हैं ये बॉटम और लेफ्ट के साथ अटैच रहें, ठीक है। और सेम गोज फॉर दिस वन, बॉटम एंड लेफ्ट, राइट, ओके। और ये जो लिस्ट है इसको हम कह सकते हैं कि ये लेफ्ट, टॉप और बॉटम के साथ लिंक, ताकि हम एक्सपेंड करें तो इसकी विड्थ इंक्रीज ना हो लेकिन इसकी हाइट इंक्रीज होनी चाहिए, सही है, ओके। तो इसको जल्दी से एक दफ़ा रन करके देख लेते हैं। ओके, सो यूआई में ऐसा कोई चेंज नहीं है, लेकिन जब हम इसको रिसाइज करेंगे, नाउ यू कैन सी दैट all the controls are adjusting their positions according to the window size, ठीक है। तो दूसरी चीज़ ये है कि हम इसको जल्दी से इमेजेस लोड करके देख लेते हैं। आई थिंक I agree it's a hectic thing that each time we need to select a folder। इसका भी कोई solution हम निकालते हैं coming episode में कि once we select a directory it should be saved and नेक्स्ट टाइम से ऑटोमेटिकली वो उस सेटिंग को उठा ले, पिक कर ले और उसके इमेजेस लोड कर दे, राइट, ओके। अगर इसको अब हम रीसाइज करते हैं, नाउ यू कैन सी दैट ऑल द बटन्स आर ऑन देयर रिलेटिव पोजीशंस। और हमारी जो यूआई है वो भी थोड़ी हमें बेहतर लग रही है पहले से, क्योंकि वो अकॉर्डिंग टू स्क्रीन साइज जो है वो एडजस्ट हो रही है, ठीक है। और फंक्शनैलिटी स्टिल रिमेन्स द सेम, राइट, ओके। ये तो हो गया अब दूसरा पार्ट। और तीसरे पार्ट में हम ये करने जा रहे थे कि बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट जब एप्लीकेशन लोड होती है तो लेट्स से ये फर्स्ट टाइम एप्लीकेशन इंस्टॉल हुई और जब ओपन हुई तो हम देख सकते हैं कि दिस इज़ नॉट अ गुड लुक एंड फील बिकॉज वी डोंट नो व्हाट द बटन्स आर फॉर, राइट, क्योंकि हमने कुछ भी अभी अपनी कोई भी डायरेक्टरी सेलेक्ट नहीं की। तो बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट ये हाइडन होने चाहिए और हमारे पास सेंटर में समथिंग एक बटन होना चाहिए जिसमें हम फर्स्ट टाइम अपनी डायरेक्टरी सेलेक्ट करें और देन ये कंट्रोल जो है विजिबल हो जाए। तो उसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमें अपने कंट्रोल्स को नेम देना पड़ेगा ताकि बाय नेम हम इनको एक्सेस कर सकें कोड में से। सो दिस seems a good name, then selected image seems a good name. For button 1 it should be previous button, and this should be next button, and this could be save as button, right। so अब हम क्या करते हैं कि बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट इन सबको इनकी विजिबिलिटी जो है वो फॉल्स कर देते हैं। Let me select this one, this one, this one and this one, and let's say we want to make all of them visible false, and same goes for this menu strip 1 control, right, by default these all should be invisible। Let's press Ctrl S and Ctrl F5 and let's see कि अब हमारे पास क्या व्यू है, ओके। सो नथिंग इज़ विजिबल विच इज़ गुड, दिस इज़ व्हाट वी वांटेड टू अचीव। सो सेंटर में अब हमारे पास एक बटन आना चाहिए फर्स्ट लॉन्च के ऊपर। तो उसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं, टूल बॉक्स में से एक पैनल निकाल लेते हैं, पैनल, लेट्स ट्रैक दिस पैनल हेयर, और इस पैनल को हम
इस तरह से यहाँ प्लेस करते हैं। और इसकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ अगर हम देखें तो ओके, for the panel we actually don't want this to be anchor और ये सेंटर में रहना चाहिए, ठीक है। और इसके अंदर हम एक बटन को प्लेस करते हैं B ओके, just like that. Okay, let's double check by pressing Ctrl F5. Okay, the button is there and it is getting displayed. Okay, so now what we want is के ये थोड़ा सेंटर में होना चाहिए, इस स्क्रीन के सेंटर में, राइट। सो इसकी सेंटर पोजीशन समवेयर राइट हियर कैन से कुड बी। और इस बटन का जो टेक्स्ट है लेट्स से select a directory और इसको थोड़ा सा हम, वैसे तो आइडियली अगर हम देखें तो खाली बटन भी यूज़ किया जा सकता है, राइट। सो लेट्स डायरेक्टरी और अगर इसको थोड़ा सा बड़ा कर लेते हैं ऐसे और इसका एंकर जो है वो रिमूव कर देते हैं। डिसेबल टॉप लेफ्ट, let's double check by pressing Ctrl F5. Okay, now you can see it still remains at the center, although not exactly in the center, but let's say its center is somewhere like here. Okay, let's double click this one and on pressing this one we actually want कि हमारी डायरेक्टरी जो है वो सिलेक्ट हो जाए, ठीक है। तो हम क्या करते हैं कि क्योंकि हमें पता है कि ऑलरेडी मेन्यू क्लिक पे हमने डायरेक्टरी सिलेक्शन वाला काम किया हुआ है, तो हम क्या करते हैं कि सेम इस कोड को उठा के एक सेपरेट फंक्शन बनाते हैं विच इज़ अ गुड अप्रोच। लेट्स से समवेयर हियर प्राइवेट वाइड लोड डायरेक्टरी और इसमें हम वो डायरेक्टरी सिलेक्शन करवाते हैं, ठीक है। और लोड डायरेक्टरी वाला मेथड हम यहाँ से भी कॉल करते हैं। स्टार्ट आइडियली देयर शुड बी लोड डायरेक्टरी और सेम काम हम इसके क्लिक पे भी करते हैं, लोड डायरेक्टरी। Okay, so once the directory is loaded, then what we want is के और उसमें भी हम पहले चेक करेंगे कि if we have some images selected then we can show all those controls, right। so उसके लिए हम यहाँ पे एक चेक लगा लेते हैं, double check we have some images selected और यहाँ पे हम करते हैं if images dot count greater than 0, then अब हम वो सारी के सारे कंट्रोल्स को विजिबल कर देंगे, ठीक है। which includes first of all our image list dot visible is equal to true. And then next is our selected image. Selected image dot visible is equal to true. And then next button dot visible true. Previous button dot visible true. Save as button dot visible true. ओके सारे बटन हो गए, बॉटम वाले मेन इमेज कंटेनर हो गया और लिस्ट होगी या द मेन्यू मेन्यू स्ट्रिप वन सॉरी मेन्यू स्ट्रिप वन डॉट विजिबल इक्वल्स टू ट्रू। और इस बटन को हमने डिसेबल करवाना है विच इज़ ओके उसकी आईडी हमें सेट करनी पड़ेगी एंड दिस बटन इज सेलेक्ट डायरेक्टरी बटन। ओके तो ये जो सेलेक्ट डायरेक्टरी बटन है इसको हम कर देंगे सेलेक्ट डायरेक्टरी बटन डॉट visible equals to false। सो ये सारा काम हमने करना है और लेट्स नाउ प्रेस कंट्रोल F5 एंड डबल चेक। ओके बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट एप्लीकेशन लॉन्च हुई हमारे पास ये फॉर्म आ गया, इसको रिसाइज कर लें, इट लुक्स गुड। तो इस पे हमने सेलेक्ट डायरेक्टरी को क्लिक किया, हमारा डिफ़ॉल्ट पॉपअप शो हुआ, इस पे हम अपने वो इमेजेस वाला फोल्डर सेलेक्ट कर लेते हैं। Okay, now you can see that all the images are loaded, menu is visible, buttons are visible और जो सेलेक्ट डायरेक्टरी वाला बटन था वो हाइड हो चुका है। इसको रिसाइज करेंगे, इवन ऑन resize it looks good, the buttons are working fine और जो सेव एज बटन है वो भी साइलेंटली इमेज को बैकग्राउंड में सेव कर देता है। और उसको जो है ऑल्दो हम इस पे नेक्स्ट किसी इम्प्रूवमेंट में ये देख सकते हैं कि सेव एज पीएनजी पे पहले एक पॉपअप शो जिसमें हम नाम दें कि किस नाम से इमेज आप शो करवाना सेव करवाना चाहते हैं। ठीक है, तो दैट वाज ऑल फॉर टुडेज ट्यूटोरियल एंड एपिसोड। और नेक्स्ट एपिसोड 5 में हम सब न्यू इम्प्रूवमेंट्स के साथ आएंगे। बेसिकली ये सारी इम्प्रूवमेंट्स आपके कमेंट्स और क्वेश्चन से ड्रिवन हैं, तो इन केस यू वांट एनी फीचर इन दिस एप्लीकेशन डू आस्क इन द कमेंट्स so that we can align some image some tutorial and we can spend some time to give you guys some tutorial and exercise और आप जो है उसको फॉलो कर सकें और हम वो चीज़ इम्प्लीमेंट करके आपके रिक्वेस्ट पे आपको उसके बारे में वीडियो बना के दे सकें। सो थैंक यू एवरीवन, कीप कोडिंग, हैव अ गुड डे, बाय।